soon as I arrive, I'm just my eyes are locked on the water. You know, from start to finish, I've got to find them fish. My determination, everything is based on finding the fish. I won't fish until I find them. A lot of people just seem to class locating fish as showing fish, but you don't always just use showing fish as that's where they are. You know, if you can't see them showing, there's other things that you can go off, whether it be wildlife, they can give it away. You know, if there's fish high in the water levels and the birds are above them, they'll be scared that the whole temperament will change on the water. You know, you've got to look out for things like that. One of the main signs is coots, especially in the spring, they're real protected over the young. One of the 100% signs of carp being around coots is the stomping of the feet. As soon as the coots stomp the feet, it's like, that's 100% carp underneath them. I've done it, I've heard it so many times. I've got up a tree, looked at the coot, and there's a fish. Paying loads of attention to the birds. They've caught me so many fish over the years, just watching and learning by their behaviour. Whether it be just a squawk, and they'll give the fish's whereabouts away, or I could see seagulls diving on the water, picking off hatches. You know, they're areas where carp learn by association. So they associate birds with bait usually, or food, free food. So anywhere the birds are diving and feeding, you're probably going to find the carp as well. I'd always start by turning up just before first light. That's always a good port of call to start, and just spend a good amount of time in different areas, walk around the swims. Don't just walk into a swim, spend a couple of minutes and then move on. You know, spend a good 10, 15, 20 minutes even. And if you see maybe a sign of a fish, then stay there a bit longer. And just keep lapping, and they might not necessarily be showing in a day. You don't know. This is all new. It's spring. It's another year. So you keep going, and then eventually you will find some sort of sign of a carp or an inkling that a carp's been there, whether it be for a bird giving it away or you actually see a carp. You just got to keep going, and it could potentially be in the night. The fish could be showing in the night, everyone else is sleeping, and you've got to play to their game. You know, they're not just going to give away the location the same time all the time. You know, you've got to find out when they're showing. Whenever I'm looking for fish, I always look at the far margin, no matter how far it is away. Just because if you're focusing on the far margin, anything in between you'll see. Whereas if you're only looking 50 yards or 40 yards, you won't see anything behind it, it'll just be blurred out. Every year I'll find is different. There'll be certain similarities to the year before, whether it be the first bites will come either on zigs or in the shallower waters, but it'll happen in different areas all the time, every year in, year out. You think you're so close to them and you've got them worked out, and they'll just throw a curveball and it'll start happening somewhere else. Fish can hold in certain areas through different times of the day, so you might see them sunning themselves in a shallower part of the lake in the day, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're feeding there. You know, they could move out into the open water in the night, and that's when the bites are coming. Whenever I'm doing the laps at night, listening for fish, obviously you're listening for signs of anything, the main one being fish showing. You hear that telltale bosh, but just to increase your senses so you can hear them more, just cut your ears like that. And it just heightens your senses so much more, probably 10 times as much, and it just helps you locate the fish more. You know, people will be looking now thinking, oh, this man's crazy, but if you do it now, my voice will just get louder. It's mental how it works. It's something I've done for years, and it's helped me locate fish. And it's not just the fish that you're listening out for, you know, it's the birds as well, and especially in the night. Birds don't really make much noise, but if something scares them, they'll let out a squawk, or geese as well, they start going mental. So the thing with wildlife noises, you don't really take them in unless you're actually listening for them. So if you listen out for the birds and you hear one, then that's where you need to get round to, you know, and you'll probably find the fish there as well. Confidence is a massive factor. I've always said confidence catches fish. If you're not confident and your head's down, you haven't got the adrenaline, and you won't give it your all. You've got to give it your all 100% all the time. You've got to be focused. It's always good to get that little bit of confidence from other people. You know, yeah, they're coming out, I've seen fish doing this, showing in certain areas. Always take note of what other anglers say, but I wouldn't take it as gospel. What you see for yourself is massively important. They're the things that you're going to use. They're 100% facts. The thing is with watercraft is it's not something that someone's like trying to sell you. You know, this is something that you've got to learn. You know, and then depending on how far you want to go with it, depends on how many fish you're going to catch. It's not something that you learn overnight. if you can adapt an approach and catch the fish, you see the final result, and it gives you more determination, you know, to go out and catch fish and look for them and find them, catch them. It's all about finding them, just watching the behaviour. I mean, I could sit there and watch fish all day and not even fish for them. Just every fish has got a different personality, and it's like the thrill of the chase. You know, all men are the same, whether it be with fish or with other things. You know, one of my main aspects is like tree climbing, climbing the trees. I do it as a job. I work at height, do a lot of climbing. Safety is a massive factor when it comes to tree climbing. If you're not a confident climber, then don't do it. 100% don't do it. If you're going to climb trees and you're quite confident with heights and things, you've always got to distribute your body weight. Keep a good centre of gravity to the trunk of the tree, and always keep 4 points of contact. If you've never climbed a tree before, as soon as you get up there, you're just going to be like, wow. You know, a bird's eye view is something totally different than it is on the ground, and the fact is, the higher you get, the more you can see. I'll always be up the trees looking for fish, but not only looking for fish, looking for spots. Like in the spring, everything's all fresh and all silted over, so there's nothing's touched it yet. So you can see spots sort of adapt and change over time. If it's a case of you getting down to the lake every so often, you can watch things change. You can bait spots in the edges, watch them start to come to life. So you haven't actually got to see fish just to determine their location. You can use other things as well.